Good morning, it's Friday and we're back on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange with Jim Cramer to talk about the markets. Jim, welcome back.
Thank you.
You had an incredible week of interviews in San Francisco.
Big week.
You had the CEO of Intel, HP, Clorox, you had Anthony Noto on, you had executives from PayPal, Applied Materials, Twitter.
PayPal, by the way, of the ones that I thought, by that moment, I felt very good about PayPal. And people did. The stock went up 3. Some of these stocks moved dramatically off the interviews. And look, these companies are great companies, but they needed to be showcased. And I'm going to be talking about PayPal on Scott Wapner's show at halftime. There was someone last year who spoke at the Irish Sohn conference, a young fellow, who said that you should short PayPal and go long eBay. And that was an ill-advised conclusion that he reached, and I think that PayPal really laid out the case of what are you thinking betting against PayPal, and I think that story has the most legs in fintech. I was very impressed by Brian Krasanich and autonomous driving. I think the mobile acquisition is going to be very good. Data centers very strong. HP, I mean, what can I say? It's now a well-known story that it's getting better and better. I get that. I didn't get to see Adobe, which is too bad because they had just reported Shantanu Narayan. What a remarkable call that was. Obviously, we couldn't speak to Hock Tan because he was about to report for Broadcom. People are dumping that stock furiously. I don't know what they expected would happen. There's a lot of craziness involving that. Didn't get to speak to Hock. But I was very impressed with Workday as a cloud king. I feel very good about that. I think Anil Bhusri is hitting on every single cylinder, and that stock has been a horse. Ben O'Doer at Clorox, you know what? This stock has come down too much. I know that group is very out of favor. It's pulled down by the group, believe it or not, because of the way that things work with ETFs. But Clorox has got a very strong story with a 3% yield, a lot of cash that they got from in the way that the new tax code worked, and just did a tremendous acquisition in health and wellness, trying to move, to think about the pivot that they're doing versus, say, Kraft Heinz. So a lot of good there, and I do think that Twitter is a stronger story. I know that some of my friends think that Twitter's a double from here, that it's Facebook when Facebook was in the 30s. I can't disagree with that. I felt great about Twitter after speaking with Ned Siegel, who's the CFO, who's the spokesperson. So, geez, a lot of strong stories out there, a lot of great growth. So I liked almost every company I spoke to.
The Applied Materials CEO said AI and big data will be the biggest battle of our lifetime.
Okay, so Applied Materials is the one that we are going to talk about at the. I want to talk about in our video for Action Alerts Plus, because I want to save that for people, because I have some thoughts about that I think the club members, I'm going to restrict the club members. But yeah, that's a good story.
It's a good story. So join us on actionalertsplus.com after this video. Jim, you mentioned Adobe earlier. You say this is the hottest tech company in Silicon Valley.
Here's the thing about Adobe. It's Commerce Cloud. E-commerce and the cloud are the most important stories away from artificial intelligence, so they do a lot of artificial intelligence at Adobe. Artificial intelligence, by the way, you got to watch my interview with Lou Cerny tonight. We really take the wood to the idea that everyone wants artificial intelligence. What they want is solutions. Adobe offers fabulous solutions for those that are trying to do e-commerce. And they're really a monopoly on it, basically. And that's a tribute to Shantanu Narayan, who took the bold move to a subscription model when people didn't think it could happen. The product's remarkable. I don't know if you have, look, my daughter designs things. She's 23. Using Blue, which is an Adobe product that doesn't think of it as Adobe. A lot of these products, people don't even know that they're Adobe. It's kind of like Instagram and Facebook. And you can create modern masterpieces that were simply impossible to conceive other than writing a check for hundreds of thousands of dollars to an advertising firm, 4 years ago? I mean, that's why Adobe's on fire, and it's not done. We had a huge gain in Action Alerts for it, huge. And we left a ton on the table. And it was one of my big regrets is that we just felt it can't continue. And those are one of the themes that I've had is, this time is different, is actually cost you so much money in this market. And I came under those are expensive words saying this time is different, Adobe can't keep going. And I was wrong. It's kept going. It's a great stock.
And on Mad Money the other night, you coined the phrase Cloud Kings, of which Adobe is one of them.
Cloud Kings, they're one of the, they are. Wow. I mean, look, Mark Benioff, spent some time with him in Salesforce. another Cloud King, VMware. We've got over VMware, obviously tied up with Dell, but there's a bunch of them that we've been emphasizing. Workday, and they've been fabulous stocks. Fabulous stocks.
All right, meanwhile, Jim, while you were in San Francisco, of course, Larry Kudlow has a new job at the White House.
Yeah,
what was
I managed to break that story. I felt good about that.
Yeah.
I used to be a breaking news reporter. I used to be a homicide writer. I was a journalist and, actual, newspaper ink stain journalist. And, that was a story that I sourced 4 different ways. I didn't read there was an article about me in Washington Post. I have long since stopped reading articles about me. I mentioned this was the anniversary of Bear Stearns 10 years ago, where I said that your money is safe in Bear Stearns, meaning that if you had an account there, you weren't going to lose the money, because that was something I worked on very hard when I was at Goldman, which is the notion of security protection. If you had money in a brokerage firm, it could be protected like a bank. And it's funny. I think about the press. I think about Larry. I think about all the journey of the press and what's happened, and how now there's 15 million newspapers, of which half of them do fake news. I just come to the story about Larry from the idea that there were many people who were pro and con Larry, and I talked to all of them. And Larry was a very controversial pick from the point of view of those who know that I knew Larry from my 4 years with him. That he's he's probably the most free trade oriented spokesperson, economist, whatever you want to call him. Of course, now the opponents say he's not even an economist, whatever. Larry's a very thoughtful man, but what you need to know is he's pro-growth, and he believes that the key to pro-growth is no tariffs, world commerce, globalism. So he is everything that Gary Cohn is, except for he will be, in the end, be a spokesperson for the president rather than internally disagreeing with the president and then externally hearing about it.
And as you write in Real Money, he'll go on air providing some sort of support for the markets.
Exactly.
All right, Jim, you have United Technologies on Mad Money tonight.
Yeah, Greg Hayes, and the question is he going to split the company up? And let's ask him. He's always been pretty straightforward with me.
All right, another big Mad Money episode tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern on CNBC. Jim and I are going to continue talking about stocks. Please join us on ActionAlertsPlus.com.